going on? It's your boy Zesty215 here with the week one team builder of the UTBL. Now, you're not going crazy if you haven't heard this league before on the channel. That's because it's brand new. And yes, I decided to join a draft league 2 weeks before Sword of Shield came out. Now, what happened was a good friend of mine who I've been in I've been in a couple draft league tournaments with him before. We've spoken before. He decided to start his own Discord and his own league. So he was looking for people to join. I told him that I would join because, why not? I'm already in 5 leagues. I can do one more. Plus, I like even numbers, so I really didn't like the 5 leagues. I'd rather have 6 leagues. And I was like, this gives me another opportunity to draft a team. And this time, the goal of the draft was to draft Pokemon that we haven't played with, and also Pokemon who we've always wanted to play with. So I was the 5th pick overall, and there was 13 people in the snake draft. So just to give another little recap on why I'm doing another league. Currently I'm in 4 draft leagues. Well, I'm in 5, but you guys don't see the 5th one because it's a Wi-Fi league and I don't post it. Just because I spent money on a capture card and I didn't want to spend money on trying to figure out how to record for a DS. So I'm just going to save all that. But I will give a recap after the season over of how it went. And just to let you guys know, it's going really well. We are currently sitting number 2 overall, and the season just ended and we're getting ready for playoffs. So with that being said, in 4 of the draft leagues, I drafted 2 of the teams. In the other 2 leagues, I didn't draft a team. In the 2 leagues where I didn't draft a team, one league I am 0-7, that is the DDL OU league. And the second league is the TBA league, and I am 1-5. I don't think those records represent me as a player. I think they represent just the Pokemon that are on the team and how I am not comfortable with them. This is why we are doing draft leagues, so we can get comfortable with every Pokemon. But I must say, it's not an excuse, but I must say that those 2 teams, I never would actually see myself drafting if I was the one doing a draft. But besides that, the other 2 leagues where I was able to make the draft, one I'm currently 3-2, the other one I'm currently 2-3. All the leagues are winding down and getting ready to end. The 2 leagues where I didn't pick team, I don't see myself making playoffs at all. So, but these other 2 teams, the other 2 leagues, I do see myself being able to make the playoffs. So this is why I wanted to join one more league and be able to draft a team and see if it's me or if it's just a Pokemon. But in reality, it is me because there are people who could take the teams that I have and could go win out. But right now, I'm not in that position. So let's talk about the UTBL. In the UTBL, like I said, we were the 5th overall pick in the snake draft of 13. My first pick was Victini. Why? I've always wanted to draft Victini. And I finally had the opportunity because in the other draft leagues, I had the first pick. And it was like, I don't want to pick Victini as the first pick when I have a chance to get Tapu Koko. So I chose Victini. My next pick was Mega Lopunny. Why? Because I always wanted to play with Mega Lopunny. And I finally got a chance to draft Mega Lopunny, and she's on my team, and she is beautiful. My next pick was then Mamoswine, Heliolisk, Klefki, Confergigas, who else? We also have Hydreigon, Archeops, Empoleon, Roserade, and Mesprit. So that is the team. Now, let's look at our week 1 team. So our week 1 team, we are going against, I won't be able to put his team up because of how our lineups are set, but his team, we're going against the Cleveland Escavaliers, and he has a team of Celesteela, Rotom Wash, Florges, Emborg, Comfey, Malamar, Garchomp, Superior, Drapion, Ditto, and Mega Bayonet. So, since this is for sure our last draft league, we are going to get spicy every week, or at least try our best. And this week, we're running the double screen Klefki. So Klefki, his item is Light Clay. Prankster ability allows any status move to have priority. So Reflect, Light Screen, and Spikes I will be getting them up before he makes his move. It also has Play Rough on there, just as the final move and a good coverage against Garchomp. Its EV spread is 252 HP to 242 defense, because that's all I needed to be able to live a lot of attacks. And it says here 4, but it was actually 14 in the special D, but it didn't really matter. And it was running a bold nature. Like I said, this thing is just here just to set up the screens, get up some spikes if it can, and get out of there. Because from there, we're going to go straight to Mega Lopunny. So once the 2 screens are up, we're going to go straight to Mega Lopunny, who's running Fake Out, Giga Drain Punch, Power Up Punch, and Return. Now, this is what I think is going to happen. Once he sees me setting up the screens, he's going to go to his Celesteela. From there, I'm going to switch out to Mega Lopunny. I'm not expecting for him to be sub, so I'm going to get off 2 power-up punches and get +2. From there, Drain Punch and Return are going to be doing over 60% to the rest of his team. And he could come in and use Ditto, but we have outs for that too. So that's the plan. Get Lopunny behind 2 screens, and Lopunny's goal isn't really to get KOs, which is weird because that's what Mega Lopunny is really known for. But the first week, it's not really there to get KOs. It's more just there to put damage on everything, so that way the rest of the team can just take care of it and sweep everything up. The EV spread is 100 in the HP, 75 in the defense, 81 in the special D, 252 in the speed, and it's running Adamant Nature. Now, it's running Adamant Nature because maxed out speed, I don't need to run a speed nature to outspeed anything on his team. Now, I'm expecting the Emborg to be scarfed, and if that's the case, there's no way I can outspeed it even with a speed nature. So I was like, hey, let's just forget it. I'd rather just go get as much power on these punches as I can. So we went with the Adamant Nature. Next is going to be our Roserade. Roserade is going to be the sit in the back and chill Pokemon and just come through, pop in, get a kill, pop back out. So she's running Leaf Storm, Sludge Bomb, and Hidden Power Fire. Hidden Power Fire is obviously for the Celesteela. The EV spread I have on it will have it doing 50% to Celesteela. So it'll be 50. So we have 50 on the defense, 228 on the special attack, and 230 plus on the speed. Timid Nature. This is allowing to outspeed many things on his team before any items are calculated. So like I said, this is kind of just going to be more or sit in the back Pokemon. Like I said, I don't expect for it to, I really just expect for it to pop in, maybe get a Hidden Power Fire off, and get out. I'm putting Aromatherapy on it because the only thing that can really mess up my plan is for him to bring Mega Bayonet and go for Will-O-Wisp on Lopunny. So Aromatherapy is there to help keep Lopunny burn free and keep my punches doing 100%. Next, we have Mamoswine. And Mamoswine is running Metronome with Ice Sharp, Earthquake, Stealth Rocks, Icicle Crash, Dig Fat. The EV spread, 100 in the HP, 150 in the defense, 110 in the special D, and 148 in the speed. This allows it to outspeed his slower mons, and allows it to just hit hard with Metronome, just keep clicking Earthquake, and it'll just get stronger and stronger over time. Next, Victini, Assault Vest, V-Create, Zen Headbutt, Hidden Power Ice, U-Turn, 150 in the defense, 100 in the special D, 252 in with the Jolly Nature. Now this is what's really going to just be coming in killing. So I need Lopunny just to put damage on everyone. If she does that, Victini will just come in and just take out the rest of his team easily. Last but not least is Bulky and Empoleon. Skull, Defog, Protect, 252 with the HP, 180 with the defense, 76 with the special D. This is our wall. He's just going to sit, take hits, get a Toxic off, Protect. He's going to do his thing. All right, so stay tuned. The battle will be next. Okay, so I linked up with J Mark, and let's see the 6 that he's bringing. I just noticed that we didn't do the 6. We didn't predict the 6 that he would bring. But honestly, the only thing that I was really worried about on his team was Celestilla. Just because Celestilla is always a good mon that, with Rotom Waj, he can just constantly vote switch in and out. So that thing's very scary. Garchomp's also scary, but I really feel as though I have good outs for his team as long as I play everything right. So, when I was sitting here, I was thinking, okay, he's most likely going to lead Celestilla. So I almost switched up the game plan and led Victini. I almost led Victini just so I can put him on the back foot and pressure his Celestilla out. But something just told me, yo, just stick to the game plan, stick to the game plan. And I'm very happy I stuck to the game plan. So I'm going to lead with Klefki, and he's going to lead with Comfy. Now, honestly, if I would have led with Victini, remember Comfy's ability, allowing it, what is it? It's draining moves to get priority. So he would have put me in danger, and knowing myself, I most likely would have switched out Victini if I saw Comfy, because I don't want Victini to have any damage on it until Lopunny puts the damage on his team. So he would immediately put me on the back foot. So I lead Klefki. I go with Light Screen. He goes with U-Turn, and I'm like, okay, Celestilla's coming in. Cool. I go for Spikes just because I was like, hey, I just want to get, if he is going to start doing this whole Volt Turn thing, unfortunately I don't have Stealth Rocks on it, but I do want to put pressure on him bringing in any other Pokemon, such as Emborg, such as Drapion, such as Garchomp. So I put up some Spikes. Next, I'm just going to go for the Reflect, and then we're just going to follow our game plan from the team builder. He goes for Leech Siege, which I expected, which is fine because I'm getting out of there. I'm going to go Lopunny as he goes for the Protect. Now, the one thing I didn't expect was for him to bring Sub, but this is actually fine because right before I battled with him, I took my team to the OU ladder just to do a test battle with anyone, and I ran up against another Celestilla that did run Sub, and I did my exact strategy, and I learned that Power Up Punch, getting +2 with my attack, I will be able to get rid of the substitute after the second Power Up Punch, and we can just go back to our original game plan. So I go for the first Power Up Punch, and then I think he slowly realized like what I'm trying to do, so he goes for Leech Seed. I go for the second Power Up Punch. I break the sub. Now I'm +2. He goes for Heavy Slam. Does a good amount. Plus with the Leech Seed, it does a really good amount. But he switches out to Garchomp. Now I go for Draining Punch because Draining Punch, I think Calvin was going to do the same amount to either any of his Pokemon that he switched out to. But I'm actually happy that he switched out to Garchomp because it really helps me, because Garchomp really could have been a problem for my team. But now that it has this much damage, Spikes are up, it's going to be really hard for him to switch in, because him switching in to Garchomp with Spikes, he would drop down to 88%. So it did about 12%, which is massive for me. So I heal up pretty much almost back to full. The Rough Skin and the Rocky Helmet damage with the Leech Seed did add up. He switches out to Comfey as I go for another Draining Punch. Like I said, I built this Lopunny to be able to do more than 50% to all his Pokemon. He goes for Draining Kiss, but I'm like, at this point, I'm not dealing with this Comfey just because of its ability where its draining moves get priority. I was like, if I can get this thing off the field, my job gets a lot easier. And when I calculated it, +2 return, straight up knocked out Comfey. So to start our first season off at the UTBL, Lopunny has 1 kill. He brings in Celestilla. At this point, I'm like, hey, let's just see if we can get a hit on it, because if we can get a hit on it, we can heal back up and we'll be in good position. But he decides to keep his Celestilla at 100%, and he decides to sack his Garchomp, which we talked about after the battle, and he also agreed that may have not been the smartest idea. He should have kept his Garchomp around. But now Lopunny has 2 kills, so we're doing good so far. We do take a lot of damage from the Rocky Helmet and this Rough Skin, and at this point, I'm like, hey, I'm going to switch out to Lopunny, because with Garchomp being down, he doesn't really have anything that can pressure my Victini, because my Victini will do massive damage to anyone on his team even the Rotom Wash. Like if he switches into the Rotom Wash will take a lot of damage. And plus, I can always use Lopunny as a sack if I need it later. If I need to later. So I switch out to Victini as he goes for Protect, which was perfect for me because now I got a clean movement. I got a clean switch in. He switches out to Emborg, and like I said, V-Create does a good amount of damage. Even to his Emborg, it does 35%. So I'm happy with that. But I decided to U-turn out of here and go back into Mega Lopunny because, like I said, this thing being Choice Scarfed or Choice Band, it would do a lot of work to my team. So I was like, hey, cool. We have a sack, Lopunny. So I let him take out Lopunny as I bring in Piloswine. I go for Rocks because I expected for him to switch out. I seen how his Garchomp went down. I thought that he would want to keep Emborg around because he would need someone to help break down some of the Pokemon on my team, such as like Emborg is really good for Klefki, really good for Roserade, and even good for Victini. So I thought that he would want to keep it around. So I went for Stealth Rocks thinking I was going to get another free switch in. However, he goes for Z Fighting and he straight up knocks me out. So I'm like, wow, okay, good. So I go for Klefki. Knowing that I'm going to get knocked out, I just go for Reflect because I was like, listen, my main job for Klefki was to at least get screens up twice this battle. Just twice. So I was like, hey, I don't want to bring anyone else in here to take damage, so I'd rather Klefki go down. So Klefki came in and was able to get a screen up. And then at this point, I calced, and if he would have ran the set that I thought he was running, Play Rough would have knocked him out. However, it dropped him down to 6%. But I got lucky because he thought I was going to switch out, and he went for Head Smash, and that only did 13%. So Klefki was able to get a knockout with Play Rough. But again, that is just because of the Reflect being up. So this is why double screens was really cool to run. So Klefki got the knockout on Emborg. He goes Rotom Wash. At this point, I'm like, Klefki, you're dead. Just put up the like screen. That's what I do. He goes for Rose Switch, which may have been a bad part on his, which may have been a bad decision on his end because now I got to see who he was going to bring in before I put my Pokemon out. So he Volt Switches, kills Klefki, but then he had to pick the Pokemon first. So he picked Drapion, and I picked Empoleon because I was like, hey, your poison moves won't work on me. Empoleon's bulky enough where I can just pretty much stall you out. He switches to Rotom Wash, and this is where I realized that he doesn't have a Defogger because Rocks and the spikes set from Klefki's first turn is still in play. So I'm like, okay, this is big. So I go for Skull just to weaken the Rotom Wash. I get the burn, which was nice. It neutralizes his leftovers. He Volt Switches to get out of there. The screens being up really helped as well too. Drapion switches in, and Drapion just took rock and spike damage and then got hit with the Skull. He goes for Night Slash, and then Empoleon just cleans him up. Next, he brings in Celesteela, and he goes for Protect as I go for Skull because I was like, hey, if I can get a burn on this thing, yeah, this is really going to be game. The Reflect goes away. He goes for Leaf Seed. I go for Skull, and we get the burn. So I'm like, oh, big time. That's what I needed. So now I feel more comfortable bringing in any Pokemon against him. So I switch out, go to Victini. He goes for Sub, and I'm like, that's fine, you know. I go for Recreate to break the Sub. I do lose a lot of stats, but I don't lose anything attack or special attack wise, so I just stay in. As he goes for Protect, I go for another V-Create. I'm just trying to get rid of this thing because even with the health he's gaining back, I should still be able to one hit KO it, but we don't. It goes all the way down to 2%, and with the burn, with the Leech Seed, he is able to stay around. So I switch out as he goes for Protect, knowing that hey, Skull will kill you at this point. He goes for Leech Seed. I go for Skull. I think he just went for Leech Seed just for the Rotom Wash to see, so that way it can heal up. But at this, so yeah, he goes down by Skull. Sorry, I had to re-record something. He brings in Rotom Wash. At this point, I switch into Roserade, and he goes for Thunderbolt, and then I just KO it with Leaf Storm. So, like I said, in the team builder, Roserade was just going to be our Pokemon that we just set in the back with because it was capable to clean up his team. All I had to do was get the right damage on it, and I think it worked successfully. So I would give this battle rating for myself a B plus. We stuck with the plan. The only reason why I give it a B plus is because I was hoping to get more damage on different mons with Lopunny, but he played it really well. He did give me Garchomp and give me Comfy, but I wanted to get at least damage on everyone. But our first battle in the UTBL for season 1, we got to win. You know, things are going well so far, so I'm excited. Definitely stay tuned to this season because, like I said, since this is our last draft team for the Gen 7, we're just going to try to run spicy sets every game. Every game we're just going to try to run spicy sets. But y'all know what to do. If you enjoyed the content, like, subscribe. I definitely advise you to go check out the other playlists just to see other battles. And yeah, I'm out of here. Y'all stay cool, stay safe. Deuces.